Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everybody doing? I know that they're, well, hold on. Hmm. Say hi to Rob. Hey, Rob. Logan, how are you doing? Scott, I think there's only Expat Paul. How are you doing? Glad you guys could make it. I know there's probably not going to be that many. I know there's a football game going on. I Who won the 49ers game? I woke up at, I don't know, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was halftime, and the 49ers were losing 21-7. So I imagine they met their demise, but I'm just guessing. 'Cause I imagine it's the other game that's on now, right? I don't even know who's playing in the other game. That's how horrible I am. But yeah, I kind of figured that. What was the final? Hey, Daz, how are you doing? Good evening to you. Uh, I know I was on Tom's live stream last night with Richard of Richard Travels. He's a big 49ers fan, so I'm sure he's not happy. 31-7. So they didn't even score again. Well, I know they lost their quarterback or something, right? In the first quarter or something. I haven't followed any of it, so I shouldn't even have a say in or be happy or sad. But I would like to see in the 49ers. Hmm. Let's see what else. Um, wow, 11, 12. Wow, more than I thought was going to be here. Thanks for coming in, guys, gals. I wanted to show you guys this. I'm getting ready to make the shirts or pulling the pin and letting the guy make them. I think I'm going to go ahead and get the polo shirts. Um, for the extra large sizes, they want 100 baht more, and they want the same 100 baht for the t-shirts, which me and my wife had a big discussion yesterday on why. The t-shirts are 160 baht. The tees are the polos are 220. It only makes sense that if you go to larger, that it's a more expensive shirt. And she tried to explain it to me. I guess they cut this all out of material. I didn't know that. I thought they bought their shirts, but they actually have computers that cut it, print it, do everything, sew it. I guess whatever it does, it puts them all together. And I didn't realize that, so I just said, you know what? For the money, I think people would rather have the polo shirt anyway. Me, I'd just as soon have a T-shirt. But anyway, there's a Santa that I think I like better than both. It's not quite as machine gunny, but or the other one, but I kind of like this one because it. Let me see if I have it. Do I have it in here? Because it has the. No, I didn't move it over here. Let me add it real quick. Let's see if I can find it. Is that it? Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, and it's this one. Um, and I kind of like that one, but it's only going to be right from where the watermark is up. There was another one that I actually cut down, but I kind of like that one. It's got the red, white, and blue, the America crap on it. So I'm thinking about having the guy supposed to do a rendering with that one and the machine gun one on it. So either way, I'm going to pull the pin probably today, I guess, if he gets back to me with the pictures. Because I don't know. I think it'll fit good on there. I don't know. That one kind of looks cool too. I just didn't like. I wanted to look for a better quality, and I think I'm gonna have to pay for the picture. That way, I'm not in any kind of trouble. So I'm gonna check that out too. It is kind of cool. I kind of like the baseball bat one too. I don't know. Maybe I'll get some of each. I don't know. I'm gonna give them away. It doesn't really matter, I guess. I know that a lot of people were saying it, and Robert, I forgot about Robert too, so I added him last night. And I think the one shirt that he was wearing was a 6XL, so that's the one I'll get Robert, and he'll be back here eventually. My problem is everybody in Australia, the U.S. I don't think it'll be a problem because either way, in a month or a month and a half, I'm going back to the States, so I can bring them with me and then just mail them out of the States if it's insanely expensive here. I still haven't found out But like I said, Tim had said it was $27 to mail a ball cap from the States to Thailand. So I'll find out. But then I'll have to figure out now. Mark, I won't have to worry about because he's coming here. Brock will eventually be back here. Jake will eventually be back here. So there's a lot of people that'll be back, but the people that aren't, the ones in the United States, will be easy. I can just take them with me, and because usually I bring an empty suitcase when I go back. I can bring two big ones in a carry-on and my computer case. So I bring an empty one with me, and then I either that or I buy another one when I get back, and then fill that up with all the crap that everybody wants here, which for the kids is mainly chocolate. They like their chocolate. Like I said, I think I told you guys before that it worked pretty good. I put it in the freezer at my mom's house, and then she took me to the flyaway. The flyaway took me to LAX, and then flew the 30 hours or whatever it was to get back, and then had to jump a flight to Buriram, and then a van ride from Buriram back to the house. And the chocolate was still in good shape, because I think that I don't know if they're pressurized below or not, but I think it stays cold. So it worked perfect. Let's see what Grace is saying here. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Dave, you can always use the other Santa on different shirts and feet. Yeah, I can switch them around, which is kind of cool. But I kind of like that one because it did have the American flag. Good evening. Going to be chilly here. Well, -1. We were talking about temperature. That is cold. That's not for me. I like this behind me. But I watched this. The Youngbloods is the name of them. It's a young guy that was an electrician who's got like 2 million subscribers from YouTube. He's bought a house and 2 boats. He's a free diver and with a spear gun, and really good. I like it. He's really energetic. It's a good. I enjoy it, and catching cooks and all that kind of stuff. And he had his girlfriend and his dog with him in Australia. And I don't know exactly. I was talking to Chris about it last night. Chris knew exactly where it was, but the girlfriend in the middle of the day and his dog, he got back in the truck and told him to go back home, which was a 2-hour drive because it was so hot. It was supposed to be 50 degrees Celsius, and it was 49. So what is that, like 121 degrees or something? But anyway, yeah, so the temperature here, it's been, I know I just watched Chuck's. You guys know I catch Chuck's in the morning. He said it's going to be 9, which would have been like 3 days ago, I'm guessing. It was 12, I think, here. And last night the wind was blowing. I went out to check on the pool and do my little walk around in the yard now that I can do it with the lights we have, and then no dirt, and not worry about falling down and breaking my ankle or hip or something. And it was cold. I had no shirt on, but I don't know what 12 is, but it was cold to me. Why can't we? I don't know, Rob. I'm going to leave that up to my wife, because it's going to end up being, I'm going to pay for it, and then she'll just sell them and take the money and give it to the kids. But I'm going to leave it up to her and let her, hey James, let her, be the entrepreneur to raise her money for her Thailand people, which I'm all for. So even though it is going to probably cost me, because I told her originally, you're going to have to, use the money that she makes here. She gets about 3,000 baht or something like that a month now. It's been pretty regular between the PayPals and the super chats and what the 12 cents a video will make or whatever. It ends up like about 3,000 baht. And of course, 1,000 of that goes to the kids. So she ends up with a couple thousand, which she's happy with. That by all means, I think it's great. I didn't think anywhere in the world that it would generate even that amount of money. So I told her she had to reinvest that money, and she just kind of looked at me, funny. And I said, all right. So you decide whether you want to sell them. I'll buy the shirts or the koozes or whatever they are, the covers for the drinks and the ball caps and whatever. And then if people want them, you can sell them, then keep the money. Up to her. Hey, Maui. So they probably will be, but for right now, I just want to give them to you guys. There isn't too many people that have really gone on to the not all the members have gone on to the community tab or whatever and put their size in. I know Mark did recently. I think I've got like maybe 14 or 15 sizes from people. A couple of people like you, Rob, that wanted to. I think Tony had mentioned he wanted to try to buy them too. But if I have them, I'm going to give them away. I want to give them away. You guys have been great and been good to me and to the channel here, and put smiles on my wife's face. So anybody that can put a smile on my family and wife's face, you guys are top notch to me. So I don't mind. The only thing that will cripple me, not cripple me, but if I had to buy the $10, $12 shirt and then pay $25 to ship it somewhere, then it's getting a little pricey on 50 shirts. But I think I'm going to get, like I said, this guy has got 12 and you get one free. So I'll probably make 24, 25, 26 shirts. And I think right now about 15 people have actually said they want them. So I'll go, hey, E.T. So I'll go from there. Mr. Going Grace. Logan didn't leave, did he? Hey, Daz. The weather has been nice here in NorCal. 9 degrees Celsius degrees. That is probably pretty good there. And going down to 3. Wow. Yeah, it's been cool here, but this is fairly normal from what I've experienced being here in Surin. It's my favorite time of year. Like I said a couple of times, I think when I drove the Forza to Chuck's for that dinner cruise thing, it was 12, and I had a T-shirt on, but it did cross my mind to put a hoodie on. I almost did, and I probably should have. I was a little bit, just a tad uncomfortable, but I'm going out. It'll warm up. But yeah, it's my favorite time of year because I'll be really loving the pool here in another month and a half or so. What are we at? We're almost in. Oh, today's the 30th, right? Yeah. So tomorrow's 31 days this month. So a couple of days we're into February, March. I think, yeah, end of March, April. It's starting to. Some people know better than me. I've only been here 4 years, but it gets hot here. Okay. Am I missing anything? Let's see. It's not good. You can watch Mike Wave's channel and what he's gone through. Yeah, you know what? I just saw that he put out a video, and this is Mike's Wave, and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. Maui's saying 3XL. Okay, put it on the community page too for me. Do me a favor, in case I forget, because that's what I'm going off of. And I got a little. My wife's putting it in a book for me. The names and everybody and the sizes. I didn't see his Moonwalk's here, huh? Hey, Paul, did I miss you? Yeah, I sure did. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, so I want everybody. I think they're kind of cool. I kind of feel a little bit, like I said, with the shirt. I kind of like it. I think the design's pretty cool. I just don't want the picture to look like shit, and I don't want the shirt to be a piece of shit. So the material picked out is a top-notch material. The only thing I want to do is I want to research and see if I can buy a better quality picture of the Santa, and then I might make some with that one, and might make some with that one. I've got to see what it's going to do, but I think it's kind of cool. And like I said, I want to say there's 15 people. And I don't know if Maui wasn't in there. Now maybe there's 16. But the first batch that I'm going to buy is 24, and I'll get 2 free. And I think that 15 that I was counting included me and included my wife. Hey, Jack, how you doing? Dave, maybe Order just one. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, Logan. Or they're in Bangkok, asking someone like Mike's or somebody that is in that area to maybe stop by there and look at it. But this guy actually showed my wife the swatches of the material, and my wife knew which one was quality and which one wasn't. So I said, all right, I'll take a chance on it. And I think when I figured it out, it was 3,000 for each 12 was about $100. And that was a mixture of the 6XL, 5XL, the regular XL, the medium, the other ones that were cheaper because they're 100 baht difference. It's 220 for a extra small to 4XL, and then above 4XL it's 320, another 100 baht. So I'm right around $100, and plus shipping. I don't know how much the shipping. The guy's supposed to get back to me on the shipping also. So I'll find out. But I thought about that too. But they really don't want to make one, and which I can't blame them. They've got to hit the computer, and I didn't realize how much entailed this was and how much. Well, it's not really entailed. It's like we had plasma cutters at the end of when I stopped air conditioning. That would actually, you'd put in the computer the size duct you want. It was a cutter. It would go in there and plasma and cut the ductwork, and then they'd bend it up. And they even had machines that would bend it up, but we weren't quite that big of a company. We were big, but we weren't that big. But it's basically the same thing with this. They put it on there. They got rolls of material. For the run, you put the material on there. You punch it in the computer. It cuts the sleeve. It cuts the back, the front, the collar, whatever. And I guess it sews them too. I'm gathering. She showed me some of the process on YouTube. So it was pretty entailed, but they don't want to just make one. So we'll see. I think they'll be fine. Like I said, I just want to make sure that picture quality is up to snuff. That's all. And I did say hi to Andrew, didn't I? Hey, Andrew, how you doing? Let's see. Have you looked at my profile pic? Everyone at work calls me Santa too. No, I haven't actually. I have. I did look at it in the back. I was great. Yeah, me too. Well, yeah, right around there, I think. And bald. I was going bald. I lost my hair too. Now, let's see. I'm on there now. Okay, cool. Yeah, just put it in there now. And let's see. By the way, I'm 54 now. Yeah, so you're getting ready. That was right about when I retired. I got lucky. I was able to retire. Actually, I could have retired at about, when did I get divorced? I was probably 35, maybe 32, and I had the chance. I was in a good. I got lucky, and then got divorced. I had property, plans for a house, everything. I was ready to go. I played Santa for a work party. Chuck wanted me to go to Tat Phnom and play Santa. It just didn't work out. What do I need for a photo? Threw up all over me. That was it. That's a good one. But I might go next year if Chuck wants me to. I'll do it. God, it's really weird, man. How come? Huh? The on my phone it shows 2 people in the chat, and here it shows 22. I want to believe the 22. I hope. I know there's more than 2. Okay, I'm back. Had to finish with No Time to Be Sad. Yeah, I watched it this morning. I was just saying, he was saying it was going to be 9 there, and it was 12, I think. Let me look. I'll give you guys the updates because I'm so state of the freaking art here. Let's see. Okay, on mine, it's 14. Is it 14 right now? 17 right now. It was 13 this morning. And it's actually, a big heat wave for here. Today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it's going 13, 13, 16, 19, 22, 22, and all the way up to 23, and 33 or 34 for a high. So it's probably going to be good pool days, but we're leaving We're leaving on, wow, we're leaving on Thursday, I think. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh well. You can tell I'm always on top of everything, right? Okay, let me give you the other state of the art update I have on the financial world here. What's gold doing? Come on, come on. 29,800, same. So imagining the bot's the same. Yeah, 32.7. I think it was 32.7 the other day, or 32.8. So everything seems like it's stabilizing somewhat. Uh, it was 15C. Yeah, it at 0700. Um, Once I don't have to help. Yeah, that's a. When we talked about this before. Um, Never even entered my mind until I got started doing the YouTube channel a little over a year ago, or whatever it was, and talking to people and getting subscribers and talking to the subscribers who are now friends. Oh, my dad, I can't go anywhere. Like Bobby, time to get going. He lost his father, but he was there waiting and waiting and waiting, basically. And it never dawned on me about that. Kind of dawned on me about if you have grandkids and you're real close to your grandkids, or you took care of them because your son or whatever, they both had to work, and that kind of stuff. Then I could imagine it would be hard to separate from that. But I never even thought about the ailing family members. Never dawned on me, and now I'm experiencing it, and I'm way far away. Luckily, my brother's there and is is handling it, which is awesome. But I got to get back there. My son just texted me at 3 o'clock in the morning or something. I have a trailer, and then we had go karts, and then I had bought karts for my grandkids to race if they wanted to. Things didn't work out. I ended up leaving, but I saw the one my son drove, the cart. I've got a 350 Honda 69 that I bought just for sentimental deals. Actually, when my wife was sick in the Bay Area, I bought it, got it running, brought it home. It needed to be completely redone, but anyway. And then I've got a Triumph 9955, and it's kind of like it's a little bit too tall to be an off-road, what I would call an enduro type bike in the old days. I don't know what they call them now. I forget now. Anyway, that and the trailer, a bunch of stuff from my house, and I don't even know everything that's in there. He went to my mom's house because I think my brother's gonna put that up for sale, because I think it's 6,000 or over 6,000 a month, where my mom is, and got that, and then I have the 1990, I mean 2008 SUV Saturn, and that's the one that I drove around. I got it, my wife, one of the top of the line Jeeps, right before she passed, and I started driving the Saturn. Anyway, it's there. So he went there, and I don't think he got that. I said, "You can have that if you want to. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be using. I'll just rent a car when I go back home." But so he got the trailer and got that out of there. So I'm happy with that. And he did send me a text at about 4 or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, something like that, saying that he had made it home. He said the Triumph pulled the tie down deal that was attached. I had a Hallmark trailer we used for the go kart racing, and I guess it pulled it off, fell down, broke a peg, and scratched it. But he said no big deal. Hey Paul, how you doing? Did I miss anybody? If I missed something, no big guy I missed too, huh? Unless Scott's just putting it in there, which could be. Thanks as always, Scott. Um, hey Grinch, how you doing? Hope you're feeling better, Paul. I said hi to, and big guy. So I think I'm caught up. So I'm kind of curious on what's in there now. I did have one of the. What are the? I had a lot of cooking stuff in there too, and then my mom took the mixer and stuff like that, which was expensive. Um, and I don't know what she's going to do with it. But I'm kind of curious what was in there. Not that I mean, just because I'm nosy, I want to know what I had in there. Otherwise, they can have it. The kid could have it all. I don't care. But except for the 350, I might give that to my other friend in Phoenix that we, at 14 and a half or 15 years old, there was 5 of us that had 350 Hondas. I only had mine for about 6 months, and I got my first Harley, which was what was it, a 72 Sportster, and of course big Springer front end, and it was struts on the back, took the shocks off, and just to make it rigid. Why you would do something like that, I don't know. And then after that, I got rid of that, and at 16 and a half, 17, I had my Panhead, which I had for years. But the nostalgia running around the San Fernando Valley and running from the cops and on those 350 Hondas was a bunch of fun. Let's see. I still have that on here? No, okay. All right, sorry. Yeah, if I missed something, put it back in. I rambled again. I don't know what it was, but I did ramble. Everybody just saying hi. I'm trying to go back and see. Okay, so it looks like I'm caught up. Cheers. And my cousin, I guess it is, that the worker, he hasn't been here. Actually, 4 days, 2 of the helpers for him showed up 2 of those days, and he hasn't shown up in 4 days. Today, he's here this morning. My wife told me right before she went to work, but I was getting ready for this, trimming my beard. I'm making sure I look beautiful, right? Anyway, so I got to talk to him about, I think I'm going to have him stop now until I get back. I think I get back on the 12th. Give my wallet a break, and yeah, pretty much do that. And then I think I'm going to get that trailer. I haven't completely figured out, because if I get the trailer, I've got to put that building that I want to move all this stuff into, like my man cave. So I'm kind of on the fence about whether to, spend because I think to get it here without the paperwork was about 40,000, something like that. 40,000 baht. The room itself is 150,000. The one with the deck, the 3x4 meter that's going to set next to the pond. So if I do, I got to put it off for another month. So I don't know. I'll figure that out, I guess, on my vacation. But I am looking forward to it. But I decided I am going to bring, my laptop with me. I don't know if I'll do them every other day, but I will definitely do a couple of live streams when on the trip down there, and maybe one day when we're there, so you guys could see the area. I'll do it. Maybe I'll do a live stream from my if I have good Wi-Fi from my my iPad, and that way you guys I can walk around with it. Shit, I can do that. I don't know to lower the. That's the only thing that I did when I bought my 2008. I call it a Super Glide, Dyna. It's basically the Harley's cheapest big bore bike, and which it was perfect. Had a solo seat on it, not even a pad on the fender. The only thing they did is they had the ass end jacked up, and I bought it off the showroom floor, and I said, before you even did, take it in the back and get rid of them freaking shocks on there, and put these lowering shocks on there, and put it on there. The bike handled perfectly. Why Harley put that? Maybe they had to meet some, I don't know, but just the dumbest thing I ever seen. And that was all I did to it. And right out of it, what 1340? I think they were 1340 cubic inches. And they had the smog shit on it. I didn't even bother to take the smog crap off. It ran perfectly fine for me. And I was up in the high Sierras, and the bike handled perfectly. And I gave it to my kid. It's still up at now my nephew's house in the garage there. Unless he picked it. No, there wasn't any room in the trailer. But now he's got the trailer, so maybe he'll go and get it. He's got a bunch of stuff that he wants, go-kart trophies and stuff that he had won while we were racing. So we'll see. Let's see. Don't forget to let me know if you stop. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as that, because I thought maybe I'd stop by. I got you and a couple people in Hua Hin, then Joe and all them in Pachua, Kurikon, and in Chumpan, Thai Nomads, T. So, but it's like an 8.5 hour drive on the way down from Bangkok to Suratani, and which is probably what I'm going to stop. If I'm going to stop, if I stop in Hua Hin, I definitely will let you know. But it's a long drive. And then on the way back, it's even going to be longer because we're going from Suratani to Koh Samui. So we're going to be leaving Koh Samui, the ferry, through Suratani all the way. It's probably 10 hours, I bet, with the ferry ride from Samui back to Bangkok. So I don't know if I'm going to, even usually when I'm on a long drive like that, man, I just want to go. And I think I told you guys that another ticket popped up in the frickin' mail. My wife waved it in front of my face 4 or 5 days ago. So I got 4 tickets going to Jantiem Pattaya for that meetup 2 months ago or whatever it was. So 2,000 baht. Not that that's a big deal, but now my wife's got four strikes against her driver's license. Hey, how you doing? I'll just call you VC. Glad you could make it. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate the support. But yeah, so I don't know. Everything. It's going to be fun. And what did I say? Let me see. Yeah, because tomorrow's the 31st. Let me pull up a calendar here. Yeah, the Thursday at sunrise, 5:30 in the morning. I'm out of here, and we'll drive to Bangkok. Get there a little bit. I think it took us 6. Well, I'm doing 90 kilometers, setting the cruise control, and just I don't know why. 120 seems perfect. Riding wise and in the car, both on the Forza and in the car. 120 just is a sweet spot on the bike or on the scooter. And I never got any on that, and I've been all over on that, ripping around. And the truck. I mean, for some reason, maybe the orange sticks out. I don't know. I know a lot of times no one wanted red or yellow cars because that's what the cops and the highway patrol and stuff would catch their eye. But these are cameras. I don't think you could program a camera like that. So I go on the 2nd and come back on the 11th, I guess. No, 12th. 12th is Sunday. So I think we're in Bangkok on the 11th. I have to look and see, but I wish I could have spent more than the 5 days in Koh Samui, but it looks like a nice place. It's really secluded and into a hillside, which is going to be challenging for my knees, but it should be good. And we didn't, like I said, we never had a honeymoon or anything like that. My whole life, the last 3 years has been a honeymoon, so I can't complain. I love my wife to death. 90 is 55 here. Yeah, is that what it is? Is 90 55? Yeah, that sounds about right. And like like I was saying, when I had the PCX, just a little bit small, man. I really liked it. I dug it. It was perfect for in and out of traffic and zooming around town and all that, and even on the trips. I had a back box put on it. I didn't put any side boxes or anything. But I made trips 3 and 4 day. I still haven't done that video for the $1,852 deal. I got to do that. Maybe I'll do it as soon as I talk to the cousin after this. But it was 3 and 4 day deal stuff. I went to Krabi twice. I went to Kolak once. went all around Phuket, Rawai, and a bunch of hotels, and it was perfect. 90 kilometers for a, like I said, I'm old. I'm an old bastard now, and the bones and the stuff, and the heat. I need water. I need to take. We got to remember that when you come here, man. The humidity, you can die of dehydration. People don't even realize you got to stay hydrated. Just a little note there. But 45 minutes to an hour, I was done, and you could hold the 90 kilometer on the PCX, no problem. It would hold it. You just didn't have enough throttle that I liked to get out of any kind of trouble I was in if I needed more. The Forza is absolutely perfect. People say, why don't you get a 750? And you know what? The Forza is perfect, man. The 350 is perfect for cruising here in Thailand. But I didn't, the PCX, and the PCXs are expensive. I pretty much gave it away to my wife's boss's husband, and he loved it. It's a great scooter, and a lot of people. I haven't really driven the 155. What is it, Yamahas? But I heard those are nice too. But now they make a 160 ADV and a 350 ADV and a 750 ADV, and I think they make Forzas up that CCC range. But they make the 160 PCX, but I've never driven one. But I still think it's going to be just a little bit short. But I was also 250, 60 pounds. So if you're normal weight, 185 or whatever, you're probably just fine. Because a lot of people, they're a lot less money for a used one of those than if you step up to the Forza. Although I think you can get a really nice low mileage Forza for in the 140,000, 135,000. And I'm talking about a 21 or 22, the 350s. You can get a 300, which James drove on the motorcycle or on the trip we took together, everybody. That was a 300, new frame and everything, just like the 350. But when they first came out with it, it was only a 300, and it was fine. Of course, James is lighter too. So, but yeah, and you could probably get that even closer, right around maybe, I'm guessing 110, and you're going to pay 60 for a good PCX, or in the 50s somewhere, or 40, maybe 40s, 45. I think you can buy them new for 70 something. But I don't know. It to me, being here, if you feel comfortable on two wheels, it's definitely the way to go for transportation wherever you're at, unless you're in Bangkok. I wouldn't even want to be cruising around in Bangkok continuously. Pattaya, yeah, you just got to be careful, man. I mean, it don't take much. It doesn't take much. And I know we were talking about microwaves, and I went off on a tangent. Is ET still there? I got to go back and look at his video. He was in the recouping. I think it was about recouping. So if you guys get a chance, you should go look at that. What's my saying? PCX is great yeah, it is. It's too small for long. Yeah, I agree. But like I said, for me, I think it was 4.5 hours from Kamala to Krabi. It was only like 2.5, 3 hours to Colac, which is really nice. If you guys ever get a chance to go to Colac, it's really a nice place. I can't ride anymore. Just have too much anxiety. Yeah, and that's the way that I kind of got the impression that Chuck had a great time on the ride and stuff, and we had talked about it. But I think to do it again, I don't think. I think he was a little bit too. His anxiety was up, and there's nothing worse than riding and being uncomfortable, or or being whatever. It's not worth it, and I don't blame anybody for not. But if you do feel comfortable, especially around town. Now I know Chuck around town, and although he he bought the Scoopy for Mafia, but he probably would have bought a PCX or something, or something on that type thing. But I love my Scoopy, man. I think it's awesome around Surin. Like I said, I put that same 45 liter shad box, the same one that I have on the Forza, I put on the back of the Scoopy, and I take it all over. I dig it. But I did like my PCX. I've been told it's all in my head, but I just don't care to be on two wheel. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's in your head or not. It's there, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not worth it. I mean, me, I'm retired. I'm going to do what feels good to me. So yeah, the only thing it's good for transportation. If you're like here, it's kind of a pain in the ass not having a scooter. But like in John Tiem or over in there with the bolts and the all that kind of stuff, you can get pretty much anywhere very cheaply. Uh, and in Bangkok with all the train shit or whatever the BT whatever it is, I don't even know. I've been on it twice, I think. But as long as you've got some way that you're figuring on getting around, or get a car. I mean, if you're hopefully if you're coming here, you're pretty well set. Like I said, I'm going to do that video on the 1,850 some odd dollar retiring on Social Security. It is very possible and decent. Like I said, would it be what I'm? No, but if I had a choice between trying to live in the United States on 1,800 and trying to live in Thailand, I definitely prefer being in Thailand. There's no doubt. Unless you're, like I said, unless you're, uh, you know, have something going on like Rob does and like a lot of people do. I liked it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. In Maui, if you haven't seen Paul, he got, I think, a little bit bigger shad side boxes and the bigger top box, but I think he put on the cameras and everything now, don't you, Maui? I think you have on it. I saw his bike, but I don't think you had the boxes on it when I saw it, right? It was parked when we were walking around. But yeah, and I'm glad he did, and like I'm glad I didn't steer him wrong because I think he really enjoys it. I think it's a perfect bike, scooter, whatever you want to call it, twist and go. And that's me. I'm old. I don't want to shift. I don't want to clutch. I don't want nothing. I want to twist and I want to go. So, but I think Maui. Like I said, people could ask me right now. I think it's a perfect touring bike for here in Thailand. These really good gas mileage. There's a Honda dealer on every corner. Another Honda, maybe the CB500, or but you got to shift. I don't want to shift anymore. I did it for whatever 60 years. I don't want to shift anymore. Now I rode from Michigan to Sturgis before and to Daytona. Very cool. Yeah, long rides. Like I said, the longest that I've done here in Thailand is the 11 and a half hours straight from Joe's and Pachuap Kurikan back to Surin. And for me, my ass was sore. I mean, it was definitely taking its toll on me, but it it I don't know. I won't do that again. But it was good to know that I could if I needed to. Yes, I had the side boxes off in the room. Yeah, that's what I thought. But you enjoyed like I said, I'd suggest it to anybody. And I'd be really surprised if they came back at me and said, "You dirty SOB, that thing's a piece of crap, and I didn't like it, and it has no guts, and I can't do anything with it." And I'd be really surprised. Now why is my mouse? Okay, come on. I guess it's time to spend 10 baht and get a new AA battery. Let's see. What is Andy saying? Driving in Thailand's okay, maybe not Bangkok. Yeah, I hear that. Just do what the locals do. I did 7 weeks driving all over. Yeah, Andy just rented a car, right, Andy? And went everywhere. You guys should follow him. I think Andy did a great deal in documenting this stuff. I think on mostly, I don't know, is it on Instagram or whatever the hell the name of that is now, but I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he did a great job in documenting his travels. You're right, Rundown. I never drove either. Not sure. I'll get into the game. What was it? What did I miss? What did Ron say? Nixel. Well, that's new. I didn't see that before. Hello to you. Glad you could make it. Rob, I never driven one, but I've seen some nice ones. Driven what? I never been comfortable. Oh, a trike. Okay. Um, have I? No, no, I haven't. Driven a trike. I've driven a sidecar before. I've driven jockey shifts and stuff like that, but never hopped on a trike. Not even a 45. The old mail carrier ones, or whatever they called them back in the day. Can't find any of that crap anymore either. I even thought about, well, I'll find a 45 and I can build that, man. It'll be awesome. They're way out in left field. Flatheads, knuckleheads, forget it. Maybe you could find a panhead for $20,000. It's insane. And I used to pay $800 for basket cases, man. Yeah, I gotta stop thinking about that way. Um, no, Maui did. I did Sturgis going to Daytona the same year. Wow, from Maine. Yeah, it was a lot of, and I hear a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. My original plan was to find a place each year, even if it was different, Thailand, Costa Rica, 6 months a year to stay somewhere. If we found a place, that was with this one. If we found a place that we really liked, we would go back to that place. If not, we would keep going, Japan, wherever around the world that caught our eye. But for 6 months, a diesel pusher around the U.S., there's so many places in the United States that I don't think people have even ever seen, and they're ready to go to, Hawaii, and granted the islands and this kind of stuff behind me is freaking awesome. But there's a lot of places in the U.S. To see, there's still places there that I would like to see. I was lucky because I was out young, running around on the bike. I could go do whatever I want to do. I saw a lot of crap. So I was lucky in that aspect. But there's a lot of stuff, and seeing it on a motorcycle is just my choice. I mean, wind in my face, man. I was in my element. I loved to go wherever I wanted to. But I was mostly a loner back then too. But never had any problems with anybody. No cowboys, no clubs, no nothing when I was younger and a loner by myself. But I enjoyed riding. That's for sure. 4 times, yeah, yeah. You have to be in the right state of mind to be in Sturgis. Yeah, totally different here. Like Dave was saying, hard to tell all my old friends. Yeah, I know. It is really hard. But you know what? Even if I had, because I think you could buy an older Harley, I want to guess for half a million. Can you? Somewhere around there. I just don't. I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't want to. I've gone out 176 or whatever it was, brand new. I don't even know what that is on dollar wise, $5,000, and the thing under warranty, everything, and for here, I think it's perfect. Like I said, if I was in the States, I'd probably still be driving my '08, around. I bought a bagger when I was in New York, one that was wrecked, and was going to redo that completely. And that was right same time when found out that my wife had cancer. So I immediately left and came home from Buffalo, but was going to do a bagger then. And I never did a bagger before. I was really kind of I really wanted to do it, but I didn't. So yeah, why is this doing that? Let's see, Gray's here. What did it say? Buying a deal push Class A RV is almost unattainable for most. Yeah, the price. When I was looking for them, I could have bought the one that I was looking at had 4 slides. It was a God, which one was it? 42-footer. It was the big one. A lot of people going smaller, smaller, smaller. I wanted big 45 if I could swing it. But the ones that I was looking at were top of the line stuff. approximately 8 to 10 years old, and they were still close to 100 grand. But it depended on what what you were going to do with it. A lot of people had that money for their retirement or whatever. But yeah, I could see how it. I mean, here I am trying to figure out how I'm going to, spend 3,000 on a trailer, to go around. So it it's interesting. God, this is going to drive me nuts now. I hate it when my battery dies in the middle of a live stream. Let's see. Going Fat Friend was selling his Heritage for 400. Okay, what? Was it a cone motor or was it a new motor? And nothing wrong with the cone motor either. That was all I had when I first started really riding and putting miles on, pack miles on. It was let's see, I had what was it, 70? Was it a 9? Trying to think of what they were, what the name. Anyway, the sporty. Somebody who can refresh me. My mind's gone. Of what the sporty Harley was, with the small front end, and a lot of people put little cafe deals on them. God, my mind's or history. Anyway, that was they were all cone motors, and they ran great. There's no helmet law in New Hampshire. Live free or dies. Yeah, it. So according to what I've been told, okay, is the reason that California and these people have gotten their helmet laws is because they were suing the states and stuff like that when they hit the pavement and die or whatever. The families were suing the states for money. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what I was told. Why? Hey, Logan, thank you very much. I appreciate it. My wife appreciates it. So me in Florida, because I remember when we went to, where was the USA? Missoula, Montana. I'm trying to think of what year, 99, maybe 98. I can't remember. And yeah, you could, as we were going across whatever states we were in, I don't know, we were doing 100 miles an hour, and we'd come to a state line, and everybody take their helmets off and go free and wrap. The sun was brutal, middle of summer. I want to say Utah was one of the states. I can't remember going up through there. My mind's shot. But anyway, it was. I don't know, man. My whole youth growing up, we had no helmet law in California. When it did come, I went and bought the same peanut helmet that I have here. I brought from the U.S. when I came here 4 years ago, and the one that it's long gone now, but I put one of those fake dot stickers on the back. It was hilarious. I got pulled over a couple of times with that by cops. That's not a real dot sticker. Really? I don't know. It came with the helmet. Don't know what to tell you, officer. And they all used to always get pissed. They actually finally realized that when they pulled over a member or something on the freeway or on the road, weren't going to get off the bike, man. You want to ticket me. I'm not getting off my bike, So they finally realized that. I don't know what they do nowadays. But it wasn't like trying to be whatever. I want to stay on my bike. But a couple of times, like in Simi, one particular cop would take my helmet and say, "Now go call somebody to come and bring you a helmet, or have them ride it, because if you try riding it without a helmet, I'm going to be right here." Needless to say, he was a prick. But there's pricks everywhere. No helmet law in Michigan anymore too. I still wear ring bucket there, and here, like, even though that little thing that I've got's not going to do anything, really. I mean, it'll do something, but I should probably have a real helmet on. But like I said, man, I had an epiphany when I was a kid to know that I wasn't going to no real harm. Doesn't mean I'm going to fall over and break my arm or get a road rash or whatever. But that I'm not gonna die on two wheels, and that's a good feeling for me to feel inside. And like Rob was saying earlier, I mean, if it's in my mind, that's okay. It's in my mind. So mine's working for the positive. Other people's work towards the negative. Whichever way it is, like I said, you go in a car. Let's see. For a new mouse battery. Thank you, Logan. I just saw that. What is let's see. Took my helmet off in Vermont and got halfway through Vermont when someone reminded me. Yeah, I don't even with the peanut helmet, it really didn't matter to me. I felt okay. And even at nighttime when we would ride in the rain, and crap, and the full face was cool. Before I didn't like full face either, until you're riding around and it's pretty freaking cold and raining, and you're getting soaked. It was nice to have a full face helmet. Let's see, Rob. Who are you hurting not wearing a helmet? Eye protection is different. Yeah, like I said, according and that was my exact point. They said that people that weren't wearing helmets, they came off their bike, their whatever son, whatever, came off his bike, hit the pavement, cracked his noodle, killed him. They were suing the freaking states, saying that the road, the state, that was their fault, and I guess they were winning. So that's when supposedly the state said, okay, then we're going to bring in a helmet law. My understanding, I could be wrong, but that's what the answer was to my question, just like you were saying, 45 years ago. Why, or 40 years ago, whenever they brought it in. What was why? Worst case scenario is I kill myself. It's not like I'm going to hurt anybody. So, but that was their answer. Live free or die. Wear your helmet and live. And it is the truth, man. Like I said, it was crazy to me back then because at 15 and a half, I could get a permit, okay, to ride a motorcycle. I couldn't ride anybody on it, and I couldn't ride after dark, okay, which I did both. But I could go out if I had the money back then and buy some crotch rocket 180 mile an hour freaking motorcycle. Never have ridden a motorcycle, or maybe, a bicycle. I rode a bicycle and hop on that damn thing without a helmet and go kill myself. And I always thought that was, even though I don't like any kind of rules or anything, for my kid and stuff like that, I wouldn't want them to have the ability to do that. No, they should have to prove themselves. And granted, you had to do a little bit to get your permit and that kind of stuff, but nothing that you couldn't learn in a couple of days. But they should. I know a lot of people, gals mostly, that had taken the what is it, the highway patrol tests, or not tests, classes that they put on, and it was good for them. They felt uncomfortable on them when they got done with their class. They felt a little bit more sure of themselves and that kind of stuff. But there should be something. You shouldn't be able to, to get a permit at under 16 years. I don't think you can now. I think it's totally different now. But you can go out and get a bike. I think there ought to be a CC limit. There was no reason at 15 and a half that I needed anything more than that 350 Honda, to tell you the truth. Would I have called it bullshit back then when I was 15 and a half? Yeah, because at 16 I had that Sportster, which was a 1200. So it just didn't make sense to me, and I'm sure that I don't know the statistics, but there must have been a lot of people that died because of that, getting on something like that. There's just don't need that, I don't think. There should be a limit on that. Go a year or two on a CC limit, and then go and do what you want to do. My channel went live. I just got a YouTube. Let me see. VTX. How you doing, Jack? Love my VTX 1800 in Australia. We'll buy a mid-range scooter with. Yeah, I think like I said, it's I'd probably, if I had to buy a bike, what's that Honda, the one that's really, really expensive, that's a crossover type bike, African something or other. That looked freaking awesome. But like I said, the cost, I don't know, 800, something ridiculous, 400, 500. That's ridiculous to me when I could buy something for 150 or 160,000 and be perfectly content with it. Like I said, if you're really a diehard and you got to have a Harley, well, get a Harley. I mean, would I like to have a rigid frame panhead sitting out here that I can take off and ride whenever I wanted? Hell yeah, I would. But I've seen a couple of them for sale here. They're just, $1.5 million or whatever. They're a lot of money, $1 million baht. So what is that, 40,000? It's just too much money. There's a lot of things that I would rather do with that money at my age now. What did you say? They will burn your what? They will burn your car. Yeah, I bet. You meet the nicest people. Yeah, exactly. That was the slogan. I think the Beach Boys actually even did an ad way back when for Honda. You meet the nicest people on a Honda. But the 350, man, we were stoked. I mean, we were when I was a kid, I drove I think I told you guys I had a Honda 90 that we tried to soup up by brazing up cams and doing all sorts of stuff at my buddy's house. His dad was the one that taught us all about mechanics. And so I drove that to junior high school and got my and parked it in the bike racks. And my mother had to come down and get me. But that was pretty much all that we had. I think I had a Bull Taco. Forget what size it was. Bull Taco and a Husqvarna, a couple of dirt bikes. But then when we went to the street bike, that was the first pretty much street bike, because the Honda 90s were all stripped down and stuff. They weren't even close to a Honda 90, but they were street bikes, I guess. But anyway, the 350 was fine. We had a ball on them. Seems like most of the guys went to the 4-cylinder 500s and the 750s. The 750s were the big thing back then to also make I don't know, choppers, I guess would be the correct word. Adventure bike. Okay. I knew we called them, what did we call them? Enduros back in the day. Enduro was basically a dirt bike with a light and a brake light on it, a headlight and a brake light. Repairing is key. What do you do if you're stuck in the middle of a jungle with a broken Harley? Buy a Honda or whatever. Yeah, like I did. I had that Taiwanese bike that I bought, that 300, and it was all right. I never thought that I'd ever own anything from Taiwan, but I couldn't get anybody to work on it. And my wife had told me from the beginning, don't buy that. Go buy a new Honda. And I'm going, well, this one's way cheaper. I think I paid some ridiculously cheap amount for it. But she's absolutely right. I mean, I'm guessing there's 15 Honda dealers here in Surin. And any place that I go throughout Thailand, the chances wherever I break down that there's a Honda dealer within spitting distance. So definitely the way to go, I think, here. But like I said, you don't have to get a scooter. I mean, Tony, he has, I think it's a CB500. But there's a lot of reasonable bikes out there used. If you have money issues, there's plenty of bikes to get. And my wife, she don't like nothing secondhand. She'd like to have it brand new, and so would I. But I'm more on the, I bought my PCX from a French guy He had all the paperwork on it, every oil change, everything that he did to it. He owned it for brand new, and I never had a problem with it in the year and a half, almost 2 years that I owned it. Nothing. And you can find them. And a lot of people, even with these Forzas, they'll buy them and then they go back. Oh, well, we're going back, or they don't ride them or whatever, and they sell them, and they sell them at a reasonable amount. But yeah, repairing is the key. You're absolutely right. Rob's an Indian man. The guy across the street from me, the millionaire, multi-millionaire, the one that I think I've told you guys about him before. His great-great-grandfather invented the flat-bottom paper bag. So he's got mills and stuff in the South and the patent on flat-bottom paper bags. And anyway, guy's got a crap load of money. Has a Chevelle, a 40 Chevy, a 40 Ford, a bunch of stuff, all these garages. It's where I worked on my Porsche. He let me use his garage that had a lift and was heated, so I could work on it during the winter. But he has I think it was a 36 Indian Chief, and I think he paid, I want to say, over $10,000 for a completely thrashed sidecar that needed to be completely redone, and put it on there. So over there he had a perfect that I could take it anytime I wanted. I never really took it out. I didn't want to take a chance on screwing up something or wrecking it or something. But he also had a Jaguar, a drop top old one, and the restoration on it was $100,000. And up till I actually married him to his Indian wife after he had a stroke, because his sister was trying to take his money from him, and saying she wants her money. I said, the woman's been with him for 30 flipping years. 30 years. Now, if the gal was, 20 years old and he was 60, and, he'd known her for 30 days, then I'd see the problem. But the gal was actually one of my wife's good friends. So I married him, and they fought it all, and he ended up getting to keep his money. But he had some really nice stuff over there. That Indian was flipping awesome. Dual sport, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Enduro is in my mind, and every time, I know the word dual sport and everything else, but it always comes back to the first words out of my mouth is enduro. Grace Harley moved all their dealerships next to the interstates, and they don't break down with the. I only had, on one trip, we went to Oakland for a weekend, and I was coming off the freeway off ramp in Oakland, and lost my clutch. The basket had broken, and they were awesome. One of the guys in the club there was had a shop. Let me go in there, use all his tools, pulled it apart, put it back together, and was on my way. It's the only time that that Evo, any of those Evos that I drove, ever had a motor problem, or tranny either. Never had a problem with them. Indian Rocks. Indian was good motorcycles. I guess they still are. They're still in business, right? I don't follow them much, but I think they're still making motorcycles, right? Rob, I was just picking on any rare cool bike in the car. Yeah, it would kind of be cool to maybe do some kind of a hot rod or something, but the feasibility of putting the money together to do anything on I'm talking about older stuff. I like old stuff. It's not feasible. And I don't even know how you would get parts and stuff. I would love to find an old rigid, even if it was a 45 or whatever, and completely redo it. Even a Triumph or something, I'd like to. But I'd have to have, the only thing here that was weird, we just didn't have the room. If I would have been on a bigger piece of property and built, it would have been a one-story house, and I would have definitely had a garage. How these people can live without a garage, that was my escape. Now this building out here will be, but I guess I could roll the bike. I used to roll my panhead into my mom's living room and have the gals clean it. and uh, to be able to work on it, I'd have to be air conditioned and stuff. I couldn't sit out in the heat, and my knees and everything else just wouldn't they wouldn't cooperate. But I would dig on building another motorcycle or a car. Uh, 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 uh. I'd like to chop something. Yeah, and tub something. I always liked that tubbing deal. I think the '55 Chevy was my favorite like that, and I had that '55 two-door hardtop. And, I almost thought about doing it with that, and I never got around to it. But it had a 350. Didn't have the original. It wasn't an original deal or anything. But it was pretty cool. I dug it. '55 was always my favorite. Um, '56s are a lot cheaper. Of course, they're all expensive now. And '57, everybody liked. I think because of the wings. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know when Indian came out. What was Harley? 1909 sticks in my mind for some reason. I'm sure that Indian probably was, but yeah, '69 Camaros. Yeah, I like the Chevys and those Mustangs, man. There was nothing. They weren't any slouches either. At least on the even on the big block stuff, they both were very comparable, I guess. We were into speed when I was young, anyway. My folks had a '57. My cousin had a T-Bird. Yeah, those are nice. I can't remember who was it. Was it Bobby that said he had? I think he had the older ones. I had the one guy that I worked when I said I made those load cells, the where you metal, the digital scales, the main components. He was a T-Bird freak, but the bigger ones, I don't know, 65, 66, 67. I even had one, the one that had the steering wheel that actually moved out of the way. So when you got in and out, it slid to the side. It was actually pretty cool. Had a big motor in it, and it rode really nice. Just I don't know, 7 miles of the gallon or something. Back then, when gas was 50 cents a gallon, it didn't really matter. I shouldn't say that. It did to us when you weren't making any money. Um, but yeah, the old T-Birds were kind of cool. I had a bunch of weird cars. I had three Metropolitan Nashes. I don't know if you know what those are. Little bitty cars. Uh, One convertible and two. My cousin still has them. He bought them off me 30 years ago, more 40 years ago, and he still has them. And he's acquired a few more. But they were pretty cool. There were three on the tree. Had tube radios in them. There was a Metropolitan Nash, and then also what was another Hudson, a Metropolitan Hudson, I think it was. Basically the same car, but they were pretty little bitty things. They were pretty cool. I had one of my favorites was by what was a Morris Minor because it had a crank, and I had it in high school, and to go to parties and stuff, and come out of the parties all drunk, and everybody standing around and go out there and crank the thing. Boy, never saw so many people rolling on the ground laughing. But fun cars. And then my Jensen Healy, I really liked. They only made them for I think 3 years. They used to be really cheap. They're starting to get expensive. They had 2-liter Lotus double overhead cam motors in them. Extremely fast, excellent handling. For the money back in the day, it was I really liked that car. I had fun with it. What was it? My dad wrecked a '65 Ford Falcon GT with his buddy going to work on icy roads. Yeah, I never had to deal with the icy roads except when we would go up in the mountains. I learned to drive on a horse mine. Cool cars, man. I dug them. This one that I had was missing the passenger seat, and it was only a two door. It was a two door. It wasn't the four door. And those were pretty cheap up until I think 5 or 6 years ago. Then with the Metropolitan Nashes, you could still find them reasonably, and I think they're going to be worth excuse me, a lot of money one day. I think they probably are already. Up in my house, I've got a 66 Volkswagen sitting up there that needs the pans replaced and probably some other rust work done on it. But the motor and everything on it, it was a original sunroof car, and it only had 30,000 miles on it. An old lady owned it that I bought it from, and it ran perfect. I took it home. I didn't run any gas through the gas tank. I just took a gas can and shoved it in tube in there. Thing started right up, idled perfect, and that was all I did to it. Ran, and then it's been sitting there. God, it has to be over 10 years now, 12 years, still sitting up there. It's kind of sad. I mean, they're worth a lot of money now. Anything pre 68, 67 and down. 67 was a 1 year only deal, but the 66 all the way down to the old all those split windows and ovals and all that. I was really into bugs, man. I dug those German cars. Rob said, I learned to drive a stick when I was 16. I got a delivering pizza, and yes, I crashed. I never was a pizza delivery guy. I want to say I loaded tile on roofs in track homes. We had a crew that you would throw the tiles 3 at a time, and you'd catch them and stack them up on the roof. I did that, and that was ass breaking. I was a tender for a concrete and bricklayers. That was ass breaking work. And then I finally got into that. I did those load cells for a while, did photography for a while, ran a dark room, and then really got into air conditioning 19 years old or something, and did that all my life pretty much. Lincoln Continental, there you go. With the Suicide, I think they were 65s, right? Or 64s, I think, too. Yeah, definitely an awesome car. I liked all those big ones. I wish I would have kept it. I had sold a 69 Eldorado, 69 Fleetwood. I can't remember what it was. Still had I bought it from a family member or a family friend that owned. They had money, but it still had the plastic on the back seats. Were covered in plastic, and and I bought it and drove it around, and somebody offered me what I thought was an ungodly amount of money for it, and I sold it as a kid. But it was the old Cadillacs were awesome, and like I said, that T-Bird was. I like that T-Bird. I think mine was a 65. I think. I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. Dave, I saw weird things. Yeah, exactly. That would have been what I would have been up for. I would have been looking for that, and that had to be a welcome tip, right? Let's see. So, what is that other game over yet, or no? I tendered more money. Yeah, I don't know, man. And my knees were always bad my whole life. So on uneven ground, trying to go up and down, and it definitely wasn't good for me. But let's see. So who's in the other game? Is it still on? Been detached watching the Bengals joke. So I'm imagining the Bengals are losing, or they did 2020. Oh, really? 60 seconds left. Awesome. Well, keep me advised. Not that I watched any of them playing. So it's going to be now the Eagles, and whoever wins this game is the Super Bowl, correct? I'm gathering. I don't even know when's the Super Bowl. I thought the Super Bowl was in January. End of January. Am I mistaken? I must be. That's how long it's been. Bengals Chiefs. Okay. I drove a taxi. Yeah, I bet. Wrong. Yeah, I didn't. I sold Harley parts too. When I built my Panhead, the guy that owned was everything. We had everything. everything aftermarket, frames, front ends, springers, oil tanks, rims, tires, and pins, everything that you can imagine. And at a youngster, I actually toured around California selling pins and all that stuff to local bike shops up and down California. But he was Gary Bang was about the biggest in the world, I think, for aftermarket Harley parts back in the day. Probably still is. I don't know. I don't buy them anymore. But TNS Sales was the name of the company, and everything that we built on my panhead, which turned out to be my panhead eventually, was from there. The frame, the front end, the tubes, the wheels, the tires, the seat, the oil tank, the pans on the panhead, everything. The inner and outer primaries, everything was from. It was on the cover of a magazine, so everything was to promote the business. The guy was smart man, and I did that for, I want to say, only like a year or something, but it was enough money. Kept money in my pocket, gas in my motorcycle, and I was happy. I was young. Uh, 2 weeks, okay. The Super Bowl, February 12th. Wow, okay. Is that normal, or was it used to be in January? Or am I just crazy? I could be crazy. I mean, I'm old, so I could just blame it on being old. Um, I'm a Browns fan because tailgating is amazing. And one thing I never did, Tony, never went to any kind of. And I was back. I was close to a lot of the big tailgaters because I think USC and UCLA, the college deals, they were really big on throwing massive tailgate parties. But and the Lammies, and I never really got into any of the football. I hated the Rams because when back in the day, didn't matter. As soon as they got ahead, they sat on the ball. And I just, as soon as they would get, oh, we're a field goal ahead, or we're just going to sit on the ball. And I never dug that. And the Raiders kept moving everywhere. So, and 49ers the Packers were my cousins. He was a cheesehead. And I used to enjoy watching it. We used to watch it at the bar. Monday Night Football we had at the bar when I owned the bar. And we I think there was two people in there when we bought the bar on a Monday Night Football, and I think our average after we got in there and pumped it all up was 250, 300 people, and we would get like Budweiser and stuff to give us T-shirts and stuff to give out during the game, and of course we had all our squares and all the illegal gambling stuff, but it was fun. I enjoyed watching, and I haven't watched a game in it's been a while. 5, 6 years, 7 years. No, probably 5 years. I'm a Jags fan. You're right. It used to be in January. That's what I thought. Because I remember we had a party. I can't remember who they were playing. We had been playing. Maybe it was the Rams or something. I can't remember playing. God, I don't know. We had a pig's head on a skewer. So who would that have been? Who would they have been playing? I'll leave that up to you guys. That'll be a mystery question. If you know when you know when what? If you don't know when Dave talks about 45 Harley, it's not the year. Yeah, it is correct. You're absolutely correct. The 45s. They were meter maids, and millions of them made for the army and stuff for the services. And they were in abundance at one time. You could get them for nothing. When I was buying panheads back in the day, and knuckleheads and everything else, you get them almost. I'll throw you in this 45, and then they made them for the meter maids, which were the trikes, the 3-wheel 45 cubic inch bikes. And then everybody started customizing those, and now you can't find anything. I would love to find something here. There's probably something somewhere in somebody's freaking out in the middle of a rice paddy somewhere. There's probably a something, some Harley, some old old, probably a 45. But I'd like to do one. It would be fun. Heard Jacksonville does tailgating right. Yeah, I don't. I wish I would have gotten to that. The root, the best looking helmets, food. What is it? Only the root for the best, the best looking helmets and the food. Okay, Harley in a box. Um, yeah, I would even look. I haven't been looking because I really don't have the money to spend on it right now until the house is done. But I'll probably start. And it's probably going to be end up being a. I'd like to find an old BSA. I mean, I really dig the UK, the old UK bikes, the Triumphs and stuff like that. Good motorcycles, man. Nothing wrong with them. And I wouldn't mind doing. I just want something that's older. That I could actually work on and know what I'm doing as I'm pulling it apart. Uh, let's see. Yeah, when the break out the wallet. Yeah, you bet. I had a buddy who was a mechanic, a builder, right? And he built this guy an old knucklehead with a sidecar, and the guy a complete restoration, not just a quick clean up and whatever, a complete all the way down, awesome freaking bike. And the guy took it out, and how he dumped it, I don't even really know, but thing caught on fire, burnt right in the middle of an intersection. 2 days after it was finished, it was kind of sad. But yeah, knuckleheads. They came in different sizes too. The panheads, well, the knuckleheads and the 80-inch, the flatheads, they came in different cubic inches. The 80 cubic inch flathead was the one to have. But they came in, and the knucklehead came, I think, in a 60 and a 74, if I'm not mistaken. My mind's old. Somebody can look it up on Google, but I think there were 60 cubic inches and 74 cubic inches. Obviously, the 74 was the one to have, I think. My first bike was a BSA Thunderbolt. Yeah, they nothing wrong with the British bikes, man. I like that. I like the Norton. All the Nortons, it seemed like they broke a lot. My buddy had a 750 Commander, something like that, and that was kind of cool. Tony, besides which sport, I would have to say probably soccer. Um, I would guess. I think would be Tony. Actually, my wife, if it was my wife, uh, she'd wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to watch volleyball, the women's volleyball. So I don't know if that's just maybe a Thai woman's thing, but I think probably soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, would probably be their next deal. I'm guessing. Yeah, Logan agrees with me. Um, mm, mm, Badminton and soccer are popular. Wonder if they party before. I don't know, to tell you the truth. I'm going to go over in Buriram. If you guys don't know, they've got a complete car track, motorcycle, you know, sports track there that I want to go to. We had tickets right before the pandemic, and needless to say, they shut that down. So the next one that's coming up, we're going to go to, and I'll do a vlog from that. It looks awesome. The track they have there, but which is makes it Bury Ram's an hour, 50 minutes from here. Um, CB Media. Yeah, I don't follow him too much. I should because I'm a car guy and a motor guy too. Um, it sounds like all the stuff that he puts out would probably be uh, right up my alley. Chiefs are going to the bowl. Okay, what did they do? How did they win it? Thanks, Tony. Poor man, tell me he didn't cry watching his bot. No, I'm sure he probably did. Uh, And you know it. I would love to have a knucklehead, but like you said, I don't know who was it that said Rob. I think was the one that said that. Yeah, get out your wallet. I couldn't afford one, man. I don't even think they probably have one in Thailand, to tell you the truth, or maybe in somebody's collection in their garage or something. Uh, I did see a panhead, like I said, for sale, and I wouldn't. They have aftermarket panhead motors too. I think S&S makes them. If that this is years ago, I'm sure they still make them. So you could build something, but I always thought about that too. How would they, if I ordered everything in parts, a frame, a motor, a transmission, a front end, a wheel, if I ordered all that crap in, what would they charge me import tax to to get it into Thailand? I thought about that when I was in Costa Rica because Harleys there were real expensive also. And I had a couple of guys that wanted to do business somehow. And said, well, why don't we get a container and fill it full of Harley parts, dismantle them in the States and put them back together in Thailand and just have them brought in as parts. And we never got far enough to know whether that was feasible or not, but it could have been a good moneymaker. Tony, they do. Oh, let's see, Tony. They do have motorsports and boat jet ski racing, but yeah, and I saw it also in I think Pachua. I think over by Joe. I think they had some kind of a jet ski or boat, some kind of racing they have over there too. Yeah, it seems like to me too. Tony. I've seen clubs here. There's pretty much all the major clubs are out and about on Thailand, and I've seen a lot of Harleys, and I've seen a lot of nice Harleys too. Um, it like I said, if I was still into that kind of stuff, I'd probably have a Harley. But to me, man, I just love that flipping Honda. If somebody heard me say that, I'd probably be fist to fist with them. But I do enjoy that Forza, man. Uh, Seems like there's fairly large. Yeah, that's what I just said, right, Tony? I think so. That's what I'm saying. It would cost them 50 for a knucklehead. What's GS? Am I lost? Sorry, probably just me. But yeah, I don't. And that's probably one that needs to be that isn't perfect because I think when stopped looking, I want to say it was about 10 years ago, and I could have got a chopper panhead 12,000, 15,000 range, somewhere between 10 and 15,000. Now I think that you can't touch them for 20. I haven't looked in the States on Craigslist or anything, and I could probably find out, but I imagine they're 20 and above now. Yeah, 50 grand. Oh, okay, grand. Yeah, easily. I would imagine. Easily. Grand 50,000. Thanks, guys. But yeah, yeah. And like I said, it's probably still something that isn't, showroom or anything. But I thought, man, maybe I could, back at, 10 years ago, well, maybe I could find an old flathead or a 45. I'm looking at them. They want, 15 grand, 12 grand. They want, 8,000 for a basket case. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. And I couldn't find 80-inch flatheads. They weren't around. The 45s you could find, but they wanted an arm and a leg for them. I just thought it was just ridiculous. I thought it was too much money. Um, like I said, if I could find one and had the opportunity to buy it at a reasonable amount, and then I could take my time and pull stuff apart and everything there and use everything there, not have to go aftermarket or anything, have everything re-chromed and unless I needed a piston or a rod or something like that, but otherwise, or valves or whatever, I would do that. I think it would be fun. My wife probably wouldn't like it because even a cheap price for one, I'd probably have to pay $10,000 for a 45, maybe more. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let's see how much time. It's been an hour and a half. Sure seems like there's some pretty good fabric. Yeah, they do those little dual cylinder 400cc. What are they? I don't even know. Hondas and all that. And yeah, I've seen a couple of them. There's one custom bike builder that actually putting his stuff on Facebook. That's popping up on my Facebook anyway. And building them for people, and they're really nice. I mean, you can tell they're probably small. If I was standing next to it, it probably look like a lot smaller. But they look cool. A lot of talented people around this country, from both art and everything. Um, the SWAT meets, none over here. Yeah, I used to go to all the bike swap meets. The one at the Rose Bowl was probably the best one for antique cars, bikes, everything. That was an awesome one to go to. Been watching Bengals Chief playoff. Hope you're all doing well. Hey Jake, what's up? Yeah, I'm getting ready to end it here. I'm gonna go out and see what they're doing. There isn't that much for them to do, so I want to go out there and tell them whatever you guys get done today. That's it until the 12th or the 15th or something when I get back, and let them see what they're doing. I don't have a clue. Although the the farang across the way, I think I told you about the guy came over and was because they play music during the day when they're working. And the first thing he said to me is, I don't want to fight or anything." And I said, "Well, that's a good choice, but what do you want?" "Well, they're playing the music, and I moved out here. I think I told you this thing, that I moved out here, and I said it's the middle of the day, man. Come on, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, come over and bust my balls. But it's 11 o'clock in the afternoon." Well, yesterday, I guess the owner of that house was a nice lady. Turns out, I think I told you the story about the lady that I was really impressed with, that when dinner, the dog that lost, completely immobile, was whining constantly. She came over and said, I would like to take your dog because I think you're hurting it. I think that took a lot of balls. And the same lady came over, and I guess she confronted my wife yesterday when I was doing something else. I think I was actually on Tom's live stream last night. And she said, the lady said, the guy, my father-in-law crashed his scooter, hurt himself pretty good, hit his face, his arm, and stuff like that. A lot worse than he had wanted everybody to think. And he's going over every day and night and afternoon to feed these 5 chickens at the other house. So my wife said, just move them across the street. I'll buy the stuff to build the cage or whatever you need, and move them in there. Right next to the house over there, there's a whole crap load of chickens. I don't hear them. My wife hears them. This guy told the lady, "Hey, they just moved these chickens over here, and 5 o'clock in the morning, they're doing what chickens do. They're, the roosters, cock-a-doodle-doo." And, but yet the ones next to him do the same thing, but he's complaining about our freaking chickens, right? So my wife told the lady, "Well, the guy's crazy. It's his problem, not mine, And the lady agreed. She didn't know what to do. I guess she felt obligated to come over here and whatever. So my wife tells the cousin, the first thing she told me this right before I went on. I told him this morning to make sure he takes the big boom box up front, points it towards the farang, and cranks the volume. I think my wife's been hanging out with me way too long. She was the one that's supposed to be teaching me sabai, and here she is wanting to cause problems. So anyway, so I don't know what's going to happen with this guy over there. I hope he doesn't do anything stupid, but I don't think he will. He is. My wife says he's crazy, and I think he pretty much is. But anyway, all right, Tony, everybody, thank you guys for coming and hanging. I didn't think I'd get 4 people here, and you guys came in, watched the football game, and listened to me ramble for an hour and 41 minutes, which is outstanding with a broken mouse. Now I've got $1, thanks to Logan, that I can go and buy buy a battery. So thanks everybody. I will go and as I will always say, where are you? There we go. That both my intro and my outros on the live stream here were given to me graciously by Richard of Richard Travels. He's an awesome guy. He was on the live stream last night. They have a bunch of fun on Tom's live stream. And I will wish you all a great morning, a fantastic afternoon, and a unbelievable nighttime. I will catch you on the next one.